Awesome. Let's get into this. We are in step two. Step two, which is get legit or get lost. Get legit or get lost. And what we mean by get legit is set up your business the right way, legitimate, or get lost. You get lost in the sauce, you get confused, you have no direction. What we just finished in step one is literally get your mind right and get your visual vision of what you want. And from when you understand how you want your life and your business to be, you are doing a disjustice if you're waiting on getting your business legitimized. y- I'm here to help you build wealth. If having a cleaning business is part of your wealth building plan, then you need to get it legitimized. If you want to eventually sell your business, you can't sell an unorganized entity. That's what a business is, an organization. If you cannot build up a streamlined business, you can't sell it. If you can't build up a streamlined, scalable business, it won't be very effective for wealth generation. If you messed it up, you're just passing on a debt infested business to your children. So let's get it legitimized right from the beginning. Um, and we will do that here. I want to just get a quick review. Step one, now that you can think like a CEO, now that you are, I want you to remove, I'm nervous. Everyone starts at zero. Everyone has to rebrand. Everyone does it. But the one who succeed are the ones who convince themselves that they are the woman, the man for the job, right? You've already taken the time to make, you've already taken the time to identify what your lifestyle vision is and how you will connect that to your business. Now it's time to make a real business, to legitimize a real business, not just in your head, not in the research phase. This step is literally turning a sandcastle into a real house. The imaginations. If those of you are not little registered right now, it's time for you to take that fairy tale sandcastle and become a real business with real foundation. Set up your bank accounts, your insurance, your paperwork. Now, I'm going to, especially because I've been in the industry, I'll tell you some loopholes, but don't do what I did. Do what I say, I should say. But I'll tell you both ways. At the end of the day, having your business registered is non-negotiable, whereas a business bank account insurance could be a little bit flexible depending where you are. But again, if I were to do everything over again, I would just get all these out of the way, because um having to go back and open a business account and transfer your money, having to set up your CM and transfer it to the new bank account it's a lot. Okay, so you might as well just do everything from the beginning. And this is why we're going to go through each of the steps clearly. So first key step that we're going through, and we only do one key step a day, is how to choose your market focus. So essentially your niche for your business. And I like this because we're going to go through a lot of myths that I hear in the industry, and how you can determine what that looks like for yourself and not because everyone else is doing it. Okay. So here, yeah. So we're choosing how to choose your market focus. Again, this checklist is completely free. For those on YouTube, just check the description box. All you have to do is join the Profit Mindset Mastery group, which is also free. It's just a support group for those who are going through this checklist and want more insight based on the checklist, guys. And then in each of the key steps, you will see a toolkit, a resource kit to help you actually go through the actual checklist. So I'm not just saying do market research. I'm going to show you exactly how to do the market research so that you're making the right decision based on what we did in step one. Everything is included. So especially the last step here, if you haven't done this, the prompts are not going to make sense, because I'm always going to refer to what was your vision, what's your ideal lifestyle, and you're going to ask ChatGPT to make it make sense to you. So you need to do step one. Let's get into the worksheet. There's two of these. There's two of them, so be mindful. There's two separate ones. There's just not one. So ideally, there's two major niches in the cleaning industry: residential, commercial. Now, which one do I do? Which one makes you more money? Let me break down the myths and the truth, especially now that you are basing everything based on your ideal lifestyle and your current your current expenses, what you can currently do, and then obviously you could grow. You have to make sense to you so that you can still be the strongest mentally in your team. There's no point. I'm not even gonna go into what I was gonna say because I think that's a little bit more advanced. So I'm just gonna keep it simple and go through these things. So basically, making an informed decision about your cleaning business market requires separating industry myths from reality. And this worksheet, the first part is just to just go through the myths and the reality. By all means, if you want to challenge any of these truth myths, go ahead and challenge it in the group, and we could discuss. Especially if there's other experienced business owners in there, they could also speak their talk their ish. Okay, so the first one, I'm not gonna go through all of them, but one I'm going to choose one or two from each of them. So payment terms and cash flows. So the myth is commercial cleaning always pays more than residential cleaning. I've had a residential that was one time for 165, right, to clean a small space, and I've also had a post construction that was $2,000. So already that is not the truth. While commercial clients may have higher total values, right, and you can charge. I'm not going to put hourly. I don't like the word hourly, but again, for those of you starting out, I'm going to say you price per job, but as you check out your numbers, you eventually can determine how much your hourly is, but that's another advance. So you can charge higher per job, I say per account for residential, for commercial, but you can have huge one-time residentials as well. So what you want to do is you're going to just consider creating high value residential package if you want to stick to the residential, especially as we get into what it looks like. Because with commercial, most commercials don't pay you until like net 15, net 30, and then you're really taking money out of your own capital. Whereas when you have residential, you have that one-time clean and that cash flow security. So when you take on commercials eventually or at all, you will still have cash flow in your account. Now, this is still going to have to make sense to if you're the solo cleaner, if you're taking money out of the business to pay you. Because if you are also paying your labor and paying yourself, you're going to have less cushion to cover your commercial. You have to take that consideration. That's what people say. You need to understand your numbers and track it so you know what clients to take on and refuse at a certain amount. Okay. So that's a myth. Another one here, I even just said it. All commercial clients pay 30, 60 days out. Yes, it is well common that clients will pay that well out, but you can negotiate depending on the client. You can negotiate having a signing on contract, like a signing on bonus. I like to say if you pay in full for the first month, I'll take a 30%. And because I charge premium, 30% may be just like a bit of my profit in the first month. No problem. At least I have money to cover my labor in the first month. I don't mind taking that big cut in the first month. That will also help you with that cushion. Okay. Now, growth and profitability. Oh, it's in the bottom here. Yeah. So growth and profitability. First one here, you can't build a six-figure business with residential. Residential. You can't. That's gonna be so hard. Like so many little jobs. First of all, the reason why you think there's little jobs is because you're not pricing correctly. Because you can have, like I said, I had a commercial client that was $2,000. Okay. The truth is, many cleaning businesses generate $100,000 in revenue with solely residential, or the majority of their business is residential. There's people building 10K businesses off Airbnb. You just need to focus on high value clients, making your packages high value, ensuring your services is high value, making sure your business is perceived as high value so that you can charge high value. And or you know, knowing how to sell, you could do your add-ons. You can make great income with any industry so long as you build the skills, you have the mindset, and you show up as the valuable business to do so. Another myth here, you need a large team to handle commercial contracts. There are smaller accounts. Again, this is all going to make sense to your ideal lifestyle. So if you did step one If you said that you just want to be a solo cleaner, you want to be able to have your weekends off, you do have a small one at home, so you want to be home by 8 o'clock, then you know that you're going to be taking smaller commercial clients that need you to clean during daytime so that you can focus on that. But someone else who is completely remote has more flexibility and can take on any job at any time because you're going to send a team. It's a myth. It all depends on what you want in your business, in your life, or else you're going to continue to be chasing these numbers, not knowing if it even makes sense to your lifestyle and your business. Okay. So those are the myths. Now, relationship and satisfaction between the two. The myth: commercial clients are more professional and easy to work with. I will tell you firsthand that is not the damn truth. Also, it depends on if you want to deal with certain people, because your point of contact in a commercial property can be ignorant, can be rude, can be bossy, can be condescending, just as the home cleaner, the home client, just as equal. Okay, so that is a myth. You choose. You're the business owner. You can choose who you want to work with, and you are the business. If you show up respectful, on time, of value, professional, clean, you could attract the right people. You could demand that respect from anyone. Okay? It doesn't, just because you're a residential owner or you're a commercial owner doesn't make you more professional or less than. There's still people. There's still people. Scheduling and lifestyle. Let's just go into that. Okay. Okay. Oh, you guys don't see it. Schedule and lifestyle. Here, residential cleaning offers more schedule flexibility. Also, it all depends on what you've chosen for your lifestyle and your business. Because if you're a solo cleaner, if you're going to be doing a cleaning, you're going to be more mindful of how often these cleans are. Where if you're completely remote, it actually doesn't matter, because you're going to be sending your teams anyway. So it depends. But residential cleaning can be structured as flexible as a commercial. I feel like commercial might be a little bit more strict because they're a business and they need their clean at a certain time, typically for a certain season, typically. Whereas commercial, you're more, whereas residential, you could be a little bit more lenient because you could call the client and do the rescheduling, especially if you're a small, if you have a small team. I'm not saying because you're a small business owner, because you have a smaller team and someone calls in sick and you really can't show up. It's a little bit more flexible than if it's commercial, you need to show up, you need to show up. So realistically, there's flexibility in both businesses. You just have to understand and ask the right questions to ensure that it falls in line with your business plans and your ideal quote. Marketing and client acquisition for the two. Oh, yes, this is a huge myth. Commercial clients are harder to acquire. One of my friends who was in the industry at the time, he would always say it is actually so easy to find clients. And I like that mindset. You guys need to start saying that, because then you'll find opportunity. It is so easy to find clients. The actual most difficult thing is to find employees for the, it's more difficult to find staff than it is to find clients. Now, to keep a client is a different thing. I also like what I was told. You don't really have a client until they paid you 3 times. And that's just like you have like a probation with employees. You should be showing up top notch from signing on a client to offboarding a client anyways. But that first 3 months is for you to really understand that client, the property and their needs, so that it could be more systemized and habitual. But if you're messy up in the first months, it's going to be a bad taste in your mouth. And commercial, I believe commercial, they're easy to chop you off than anything, especially now that a lot of people don't do locked in year contract unless you're with like governments and those bigger contracts anyways. But again, you don't want to be losing that at the end of year, especially if that contract was 60,000 and you couldn't even keep up for the first year and you lost that. So yeah, but commercial is not complex. If you just get in front of the right people, your friends and family could connect with the right managers. It's not difficult to find commercial clients. You just get in front of them. It's really the longevity of keeping them, and that's up to you as the operating business owner to continue to operate up to a standard that they want to keep you at. Oh, you need a sales team for commercial cleaning as because it's a large industry, and if you want larger contract, there's again, I'm not being naive. Someone who doesn't know how to communicate correctly cannot expect to close down a six-figure deal. They need to know that you are competent and well equipped for the job. So yes, there is not yes, you should always be developing yourself personally, learning communication skills. If you struggle with English, you'll take English classes, invest in yourself so you can show up. You don't need a sales team. You could be that person to sell and do the walkthroughs, but you do need to show up with confidence. That's why the first step is focusing on your CEO mindset because you this may be your first walkthrough, but they don't need to know that. You need to embody that. All right. Now, why do businesses mix both home and commercial cleaning? It is very smart too, especially depending on what your starting capital is. If you're someone who's literally starting out of pocket, it is actually very dangerous to start completely off commercial unless you can get that first month paid in full because you still need to pay your labor and your labor is not going to wait a month, 60 days for you to get that check from the commercial. You have to pay them. You have to pay them, or else you're going to lose your team before you even start your cleaning business or before you start your commercial aspect. But if you have a larger capital and you don't, and you have a cushion of cash and you can use that money to pay your cleaners, then by all means jump into commercial, right? And it all stems down to again in step one, when you identify your vision, your lifestyle, you will then make the best decision of what you will go into, anyways. You're not listening to my voice because, yes, I had a cleaning business and I have experience, not saying, oh, because she knows all. I'm saying that you know all, you know your vision. You need to base it on your vision. I'm just giving you the tools to identify and make the right decision for yourself. By all means, use the group to, to discuss that decision in the group as well. Now, this is the reason why people are mixing both home and commercial is because commercial is your quick cash, whereas long-term your commercial, sorry, your residential is your quick cash, your quick insertion or one-time cleans, but then your long-term is your consistent residential and your consistent commercial. Having both is going to help with your slow times, where especially typically here in Canada, it's slower around Christmas, and not a lot of people are investing in home cleaning after Christmas. Again, that's also a limited belief, so don't stop that. But that would be the good time when your commercial is helping you out with your income in that time, because commercial is more consistent in regarding to like yearly around. Busy seasons helps when you don't have, again, same thing. You don't have many homes, but you have the commercial. You don't have many commercials, but you have the homes. Special cleaning, adopting commercial cleaning, window cleaning at certain times to help with extra income, mixing it around. And then it says here, same workers. I did use Chaplin, to be honest, ChatGPT to help me out with this, but basically it's saying when you have the same team that you don't have to pay extra for certain labor costs, which I don't really agree with that. So I'm just going to remove that because at the end of the day, your team could do. Okay, guess what it could say is like if you have a team that a majority of your team cannot do commercial cleaning, then you're gonna have to invest in a new team. Your team should be multifaceted anyways, especially if you're doing remote. So you have to understand what services they can and cannot do. And then staying safe when it comes to risk management. If you're solely on commercial, and like they say, all you need is 5 commercial clients to make 20,000. But what if you lose the two? You're down 50, you could be down 15 in like a moment of a day or a month, and you still have to pay your contractors, right? Whereas when you have home clients still, that income will then supply, and you don't have to worry and start taking random clients because you're not making enough money because you lost a client. And that's just the name of the game. You can lose clients, you win clients every day. It's business. But so the second activity in this step is basically the chat AI prompt to help with your market research and your competitive analyst. Back when we didn't have chat, I mean, we did have chat, but it wasn't that like, I didn't know chat could do this. Okay, so back when you didn't have chat, you didn't have someone scraping up all the internet and giving you all the information. What I would do for market research is that I will, first of all, I identify my area. Do they already have a lot of cleaning companies, especially for cleaner for a remote cleaning business? It is actually a very good sign that there is a lot of cleaners in my area because I would be employing those cleaners. So identify there's a lot of cleaners. Identify, do you notice that in your area, especially depending if you're doing residential, in your area, is there a Whole Foods? Is it a well-built area, built up area? It is might be a little bit difficult, or again, like we live and believe, to start a cleaning business in such a remote area where there's like three other cleaning businesses and like five residential, like huge operations. It's gonna be a bit tough unless you expand your location. But if you know in your area, there's tons of cleaning business owners. Obviously, it's because there's a lot of need for cleaning, and then it's a well-established area. That means there's good paying people. If there's a Whole Foods in the area, that means there's people that value that lifestyle, that are busy, that want to feed themselves well, right? Then that's going to be a good area to build up a remote business area. And then I would call about 3 to 4 businesses. I would call a solo cleaner a small business. I would call a business owner that's around my area. My I'll say my revenue anywhere from 3 to 5 years running. And then I will call a very well known. So if I just search cleaning business on Google, they're the first top 3 websites because there's someone who've invested tons of money on marketing. They're well established. I will call about 3 or 4 in that different area, and then I will act as if I was a client for a average home or average property, and I would ask them how much they would charge, and I would see what's going on in my marketplace. Okay, that would just to be an idea of how much I would be charging. It is not necessarily because X, Y, and Z charge this much, I would charge this much. I'm just getting an idea of what people are typically willing to pay for the service. That's it. But now here we have an AI prompt to help you with that. In addition, it's going to incorporate everything you did in step 1 to identify how much you want to be making lifestyle and how much you want to be inputting in time and energy as well. Okay. Now, here's the AI prompt. Basically, this is going to help you make a decision on here. I need help determining the best market focus for my cleaning business based on my current situation and goals. So, your current situation, here, you guys don't see it here. Here. Based on my current situation and goals, you're going to put your starting capital. How much do you have to invest in the business right now? How much people do you have to help? Is that yourself? How many people? Numbers. How much hours can you put towards this business? And do you have a vehicle? Any special experiences? Are you going to be doing window cleaning? Do you do commercial cleaning? Your desired reality, right? This is all in step 2, the last key step. You would already determine this. This is why it's important to do everything in order, because you already know how many hours you want to work, how much money you want to be making personally. Describe your work-life balance. Let them know, hey, I have a family. I want to make sure that I'm home by 8 o'clock, at least 3 times a week. What's your long-term goal? I want to be eventually be making $6,000 in profit in my business, and I want to eventually be selling it, or I want to be able to expand in a different location that's X, Y, and Z away. And then you're going to go in and say, okay, what are you considering? Okay, I'm considering to do more residential, but mainly focus on move out, move in cleans at least 600 plus each job. So you're going to just brainstorm with AI with these prompts, and then it's going to then break out. Do I have it here for you guys? No. It's going to then break down in these 7 categories based on the data. What's suitable for your certain situation? What's the pros and cons for the options you're going to be considering? What's a realistic timeline for the profitable goal that you want? It's going to help you with that. Now, With that information, you can go ahead and continue to ask chat to break down each of these steps for you as well. But however, this is for you to kind of just mentally go through this. It's not necessarily a prompt, but for you to, oh, I'm hot as hell. It's for you to go through and mentally take a mental capture of what that looks like. And then the next prompt is, oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Now it's the market research and competitors analyst. I need a comprehensive, I hate that word, that's such a chat word. I'm gonna put detail. Oh, not me, not selling it. I need a detailed market research for my cleaning business focused on the niche that you're looking for and the city and region. Please help me analyze, right? This checklist has a lot of US and Canadian focus suggestions, but I've made all the prompts where you can put your own country and city so that you can figure out that for yourself. All right. Now, what are you analyzing? This market size, the growth, seasonal fluctuation. What should I prepare for? Right. And it's if you are a sunny state all around, do you have to worry about when the snow is hitting and business owners need to actually increase the amount of cleans in the week because the amount of traffic will be affected by the amount of say the cleanliness would be increased because of the amount of traffic and the foot traffic and snow. So that's something that chat can give you a idea of. When do you contact your residential or commercial clients and say, hey, we just had a storm, or it's getting pretty, I don't know, maybe you have hurricane season. Could we add on an extra day for you because I know that you probably have a fluctuation of cleanliness because of X, Y, and Z to keep out with. Top competitors. So identify the top 3 successful businesses in your area. And I've done this before. And they picked out 3 of my top competitors. And they were able to analyze the websites, their keywords that they use in their Google ads. Okay. Getting all that information so you know what to add in your marketing, especially if you want to be up there with the leading cleaning businesses. What are they doing? What are they primarily? Where are they marketing? How much are they spending? If that's even a public information, what are their packages? What do they offer? The client reviews, positive and negative. What are people saying about your competitors so that you can make market materials based on their negative feedback. I'm not saying, oh, don't go with X, Y, Z because their clients say, they're not attentive. They don't pay attention to detail. But for you, it's like here in our city, we pay attention to details and just blow up on that negative comment, which would be your positive competitive advantage. Then it's going to ask to analyze the ideal client profile based on your competitors. What are they marketing to? Who are they marketing to? Who are they speaking to? What is the demographic? What are their psychographics? This is really important because, like we spoke about in the first section, we talked about how do you want your brand to make people feel? Do you want to make them feel secure, safe, proud? Those are value-based angles when it comes to marketing, not just clean, sparkling clean, prestigely clean. That's just very fancy ways to say clean. How about we focus on what transformation they're going to get? So when you know the psychographics, the feelings, the values, what their pain points are, you could then market it, teach it to your ideal with true life pain points. I'm at 30 minutes and that was my goal. But I'm not going to go through the entire thing. So that's your prompt. And it's going to break down and analyze your competitors so that you can make the decision on what you want to draw out. Don't invent the wheel. If your competitors are marketing on Google and X, Y, and Z, by all means, do exactly what they're doing. It's working. Like, don't try to invent the wheel. You're just going to put a spin on it and make sure that you are aligned to your core vision that we did in step one, so that it makes purposeful, aligned sense to you as the business owner of your business. Okay. And then the market evolution strategy, which is just for someone who does want to go from a solo cleaner to a what that looks like, and how having a chat help you on that growth for you. And then, as always, there is a commitment section where you're going to commit to doing all of this, because you're not just downloading a free checklist and being thankful for information and knowledge. You're going to be committed to doing this for yourself, because you want to make yourself proud. You have a plan for yourself. You have an idea of wealth for you and your family. So you're going to commit to that, not because I told you or anyone else told you, because you are the owner of your damn life and you are adult and you can say, I'm doing this down pat. Okay. So that's key point of step 2. I can't wait for the next. I might do double in the day, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow for the next key step. Again, get access to the checklist completely free. All you have to do is invest your time to get into the Profit Mindset Mastery group. That's it. I'm just asking you to do an extra step. Just join the group, because it is a support group. It is not a coaching group. I'm not obligated to coach you in it. But as you go through this checklist, you might have questions. You might need help. You might need understanding. And then this group, it's worldwide. So you may find someone who's in the same city as you that will give you the best aligned suggestion in that group. Okay. So thank you so much for watching and downloading this checklist.